Good morning, everyone. Thanks very much. So, yeah, Jonathan's done it, but apologies, Steve can't be here. He was taken ill yesterday. So Greg has very kindly stepped in. Dan, thank you. You've taken most of what I had to say as a quick introduction and completely aligned with everything that you've seen and the trend that's coming on. So I'm just going to spend a couple of minutes. A year ago, I was at the Britannic event, and we talked about the digital journey and where we, Avaya, thought it was going, where you may have been on your digitalisation, your digital journey. And we really looked at that collaboration, embedded communications, mobility, UC apps, but also looked around being Avaya, the contact centre, and how you could give a personalised approach. The change in the year has been quite staggering. Dan picked up on a lot of these. So we don't talk about analytics anymore or big data. That's there, that's been accepted. And the amount of data that we've got, you talked about zettabytes, it is immense. Everyone's storing it, everyone's got it to hand, but what do you do with it? What's the value in this big data that we now have? Well, it's the idea of being able to use that data so you can target your employees and or your future customers in exactly the same way. Very much as Dan was looking at the young drivers or any drivers and looking through that experience of what actually happened, but tracking potential future behavior as well. But instead of having, I think, Dan, you called it data scientists, you're absolutely, this is now machine learning. This is automating the analytics of that data. Welcome to the world of artificial intelligence. That is now inherent. Dan brought up, I think, chatbot. You're going to see more and more of this where it's automated, but tailored to you as a business and or your customers. But it's real time. Mobility, half of you had multiple devices, apps that monitored your activity levels, etc. Maybe not to the extreme of Dan doing triathlons and Ironmans, but nonetheless, you all can run your businesses today. You've got your mobile device, your tablets, you can take calls, you can answer emails, IMs, etc. Your business will not stop because you're out for the day. So taking that information and delivering it to a mobile device anytime, anywhere, doesn't matter about your geographical location, doesn't matter about your device, it's personalized. Cloud, it's everywhere. It's been around for a while. Everyone may have their own interpretation of what cloud means, but we look at it in a different way. Most vendors now can deliver apps, services, data via the cloud. Most of you as a customer will be consuming informational services via the cloud. You may well be offering it to your customers via the cloud. But actually what that brings is an ecosystem of people together. So you as customers can actually look at the partner community that have applications and services in the cloud. You can now build your own ecosystem of those vendors and partners and or similar sized companies to yourselves and deliver that down to your customers. And lastly, before I move over to Greg, who's going to show how Avaya can help in these aspects. Personalization. Consumers are fickle. Jonathan touched on the millennials, Generation X, Y, Z, or nicknamed the data junkies. They have very limited loyalty. Loyalty used to be measured over a period of time. Loyalty can now be measured in a moment. Was that experience there and then good? Was the information you as a customer provided me as a consumer correct? Was it meaningful? When and where I wanted it, on the device I wanted it, and in the medium that I wanted to read it or consume that bit of information? And did you provide information for the next step I was going to take? If not, my loyalty is gone. I'll go to the next one. I watch my children, 15 and 18. They have no loyalty whatsoever. It's all about the experience in the moment. And they'll switch brands, they'll switch companies for the experience. So how can we, Avaya, help you with actually containing that analytics and automating it, but making it meaningful, ultimately being able to deliver that or consume that by any device, anytime, anywhere? How can we deliver that, not necessarily on-prem, but by cloud, but an ecosystem of cloud providers, but most importantly, deliver that personalized touch to you, your customers, and your employees. Many of you have or will be employing these millennials, and their expectation as an employee and their expectation as a consumer is totally different than when we entered the workforce. To show how we could do it, I'm going to pass on to Greg.
Thank you. Morning, everybody. I'm going to talk to you about how Avaya have built up an architecture for digital transformation and digital engagement. So let's start with that architecture. We've heard from Dan this morning about how things are changing, how organisations need to be agile. We need to be able to keep ahead of the rest of the market. We need to have that competitive differentiator. So how do we do that? Well, Avaya have our digital architecture, which you can see up here on the slides. It starts off in the bottom left-hand corner with our communications platforms. These are the platforms that I'm sure some of you already have deployed, things like IP Office, things like Avaya Aura, Communication Manager. And then building on top of that, we need to be able to utilise our team engagement applications such as conferencing, video conferencing, UC applications, and also our contact centre applications as well, such as self-service, or it might be getting information into our contact centres, routing calls to the most appropriate agent. We've recognised that analytics is key in this new digital marketplace, and so we've created a new area which is specifically targeting around analytics. How do we take information not only from our own systems and how things have been performing during those interactions with customers, but also being able to import information from other systems as well, whether that be systems from our ecosystems of cloud partners, or whether it be information from Internet of Things devices, bringing all that together to allow us to understand how we can actually improve those customer experiences. And you'll see at the core there are two main areas that we believe are key to any digital transformation architecture. The first one is a software-defined networking layer, and the second one is something which is called Avaya Breeze. I'm going to talk a little bit more about both of those now. So let's start at the foundation layer, that Avaya networking layer. The networking layer is actually key to any digital transformation. The traditional three-tier model that we've seen in the past over the 90s and the early 2000s is no longer fit for business. It's too slow. We've got to bring data in from multiple areas. We've got to be able to move information around, work with multiple applications. It's not about client-server anymore. It's about consuming services from multiple areas and be able to do that quickly, be able to do it with agility. So a fabric is something that is key. Also something which is open and it's flexible. So that fabric needs to be able to extend across the network, across to your edge, across to your different data centers on the WAN, also obviously into the cloud if need be. And we need to be able to handle that and make changes using software to be able to do that. So rather than having to visit every single point of the network to configure it, which is slow, it's also prone with errors as well, we need to be able to do that centrally and do it once. We make that change and it's propagated across the entire network very, very quickly. Again, allowing us to move very, very quickly. If we need to add new services in, we can do that at the click of a button. We also need to be able to attach other devices to this network in a secure fashion. So Fabric Attach is something that we're using to embed into Internet of Things devices, but also to be able to plug in any network-capable device into that network. And using something called segmentation allows us to ensure that that is done securely and done dynamically. So if somebody removes that device and plugs in a PC, actually we can immediately restrict that so they cannot enter the network. We can also ensure that that security is dynamic. Somebody adds a device in which we're not sure about, we can use that hyper-segmentation to just move it across to somewhere which is completely quarantined, allows us to look at that and address what the issues are and then decide whether we allow it into the network. So a foundation layer built on software-defined networking, a fabric network, is something which is key to any digital transformation. Without that, you're building on sand. It's something that's going to slow you down as you move forward. So the next element of our digital transformation is something called Breeze. Now, Breeze has been developed by Avaya specifically to allow us to move quickly, to allow us to embed communications into any business process. Now, that could be, for example, embedding something like video into a mobile application, so that when perhaps you make your home claim because of some damage at your house, that you can actually use video to show that to the assessor that's on the other end of the line and help speed up that process, help you get your claim through much quicker and help and essentially improve your customer experience. It could be that we actually use this to embed into some event in the network. Maybe you've just walked in with your mobile phone into a retail branch. We've identified that you've walked in there over the wireless LAN, and we're actually able to then dynamically send you an SMS or some other messaging platform text to say, hey, did you know that the latest offers are this? Maybe we could even do that as you're walking past the shop. Again, it's back to this idea of being in the moment. If I'm able to identify that you're interested in a particular product, again, using extreme analytics, and then I notice you've walked past my shop, just as you're walking past, you actually receive a text to say, hey, that product you're looking at, we've got 10% off in this store now. That is something that's going to grab somebody's attention, and you may get a sale out of it. If you send that text at 6 o'clock at night as I'm sat down to eat my dinner, you've lost the moment. So Breeze allows us to integrate these different types of communication into applications, into the business process, and do it very, very quickly. In fact, it's been built completely to be highly available, highly scalable, and secure. You don't have to worry about this. All we're here is to allow that dynamic and agile software development. So you don't need to know anything about CTI, you don't need to know anything about communications platforms, how any of it all fits together underneath the scenes. All you need to know about is how to develop in HTML or Java. So again, as Dan mentioned about these agile teams that come together to create something very, very quickly, test it, work out, is this something that we can use, or to move on, make changes. Breeze allows you to do that. It's the innovation engine of the communications world. And we call it our Smart Solutions Accelerator because it really does allow us to start to focus on different verticals. So Avaya ourselves, whilst we do have obviously our products which are very horizontal, we're also looking at different vertical segments and how we can provide solutions that improve that business area. And we're able to do that by using Breeze. One of the things that we can do, you can see on the screen here, is something called Engagement Designer. Now, this is a workflow tool. It's something which is built upon business process modeling and notation. It's all standards-based. It's something that you can build a business process to embed into your other, or integrate into your other processes with no coding skills at all. It's just a drag and drop. You can have something built in less than 10, 15 minutes and deployed. But we've also got an SDK as well, which goes with Breeze. So not only can we integrate into business processes and do that quickly and efficiently, but we can also make the front end, the user experience, tailored to that particular business. So instead of you having to make use of a particular solution or a particular product that we've brought to market, and you've got to bend your processes to fit in with how that works, actually, we can change it the other way around. So actually, we can build something which is tailored specifically for you, whether that be on the customer side or whether that be actually on the internal side. And actually, Breeze is such a powerful platform. It's such a platform that allows us to get things to market so quickly. We actually use it ourselves. And I'm going to talk about a couple of products areas that we've just released or about to release. The first one is in the contact center area, the customer engagement area, is OhShe. OhShe is our next generation customer engagement platform. It's been built completely on the Breeze platform. It allows you to have a multi-touch experience across any different channel of communication. It allows you to administer that. You can also extend and augment it using the Breeze platform. You're able to make changes very, very quickly. You can integrate it into other systems. But it's all been built on top of the Breeze platform because it gives us that capability. There are a number of things called snap-ins within Breeze which provide certain functionality. And OhShe has been built using those particular snap-ins. So, for example, we can think about, again, we're thinking about the mobile first environment. When you think about customer experience today, I don't know if you're the same as me, but if I'm watching TV and something comes on that I'm interested in, the first thing I reach for is my mobile phone. Even though my laptop might be right there in front of me, the first thing I reach for is my mobile phone. And that's the same for everybody. All customers are now starting to use mobile as their first point of contact. It could be through an app, it could be through the mobile web, but it's certainly now the first point of contact for the majority of customer experiences. So we're able to provide rich integration into those mobile devices using SMS. It could be using a messaging platform, integrating voice via WebRTC or video into those applications so that the experience is exactly what the customer wants to see. We're also embracing the artificial intelligence and machine learning area by providing you with a chatbot as well. So again, you can blend self-service in with assisted service so that the customer gets the experience they require at the speed that they require. But I've mentioned about Engagement Designer. Again, all the workflows within OhShe are all defined within Engagement Designer. Very easy to quickly drag and drop. If you want to be able to consume some of these microservices from the cloud, then you can do that through that Engagement Designer. We can integrate with any web service or RESTful web service just by dropping a task into that workflow and linking it into the rest of your logic. Very, very quick. Using analytics, and again, analytics continues to be a key theme here, we're able to map out the customer journey. You can visualize exactly how that customer has been interacting with you over a period of maybe days, hours, weeks, whatever it might be. The agent can see exactly that journey that the customer has gone on. Because we're able to collect context. We're using something called Context Store, which again is another capability, and Snap-in available on Breeze, which allows us to collect information to understand the relationship that we have with that consumer. How do they often contact us? What types of products do they have with us? What are their preferences? We can use all of that to be able to attribute match the perfect agent for that particular conversation. So no longer do we need to put a customer into a queue of skill buckets to be able to say, well, this one's sort of a question about billing, or this one's sort of a question about claims. We can actually do direct one-to-one matching. And then finally, we have a workspace which has all been built upon the Breeze SDK. It's all HTML5. It provides all the functionality that the agent requires to interact with the customer over any channel that customer wishes to contact us on. We're able to take in web chat and perhaps escalate that to a full collaboration web co-browsing session, or even be able to escalate that to a voice or video call as well. Of course, Nothing happens in the contact center unless you can report on it. So alongside Oceana, there's also OhShe Analytics. See what we did there? Yeah. So OhShe Analytics is our new analytics platform. So not only does it provide reporting on Oceana, but this is built from the ground up on Oracle Business Intelligence. Using Breeze as an eventing framework, we're able to collect any event into OhShe Analytics. We're able to integrate with other data warehousing and be able to provide that analytics and that insight that you need to be able to keep ahead of your competitors. So that's on the customer engagement side, but another product that we're about to release as well will be released at the end of this calendar year on the team engagement side is Avaya Equinox. Now, team engagement, when we talk about digital transformation, everybody tends to focus around the customer experience. However, the customer experience is only as good as the service you can provide. And that service is not just about how I interact with you, but it's actually how I fulfill your requirements. How can I deliver the service or the goods that you're asking for? So team engagement and collaboration is key to that. And this is where Equinox comes in. We've changed the way that people want to integrate UC into their environments. This is moving beyond that. It's taking into consideration how do we make it easy? How do we embed it again into the business flow? So we started from a mobile-first approach. So everything that you see in Equinox, you can do on your mobile device, whether that be Android, whether it be iOS. It can also work on your Windows laptop in exactly the same experience, or it could be on your Mac in exactly the same experience. So wherever you're using this, wherever you are, you have the ability to communicate with your colleagues with you using exactly the same look and feel as you would do on any device. Another part of Equinox that's embedded within the experience is messaging, but it's always on messaging. This is not instant message where I've sent you a message and then I close the window and it's gone. This is persistent. This is information that you can keep together in that conversation, whether it be a message, it could be a video or a presentation, whatever it might be. It's persistent, and it's persistent across all devices. So if you're out and about and you're using Equinox on your mobile, you have access to all of those conversations from your mobile. If you send a message, then it also replicates on your desktop as well, so you can go and sit down and continue your work however you're wanting to interact. We're also allowing you to embed this capability into various applications via the browsers. And another key element is that we have now combined our video and audio conferencing solutions into one software-based platform. So again, when you want to be able to join a conference, you don't have to remember the PIN. You don't have to remember, right, okay, when is it that the conference? Equinox will prompt you that you have the meeting coming up. You click on one button, and that takes you into your conference, directly into that conference without having to add any further details. If you want to make any changes, you want to go on mute, I'm sure you're all similar to me. When you're on a conference, you're often doing something else in the background as well, multitasking. Again, when you're on your phone and you swap to a different application, the ability to mute and unmute yourself is still available, floating over the other applications. So you've got one-touch access to be able to join. So when somebody says, Greg, what do you think about that? I can just click the button and it looks like I'm listening. And finally, it's all software-based. Everything I've mentioned today on the Breeze architecture is all software deployment. The entire Aura platform is now completely software-based and virtual and able to be virtualized. We're able to deploy this, whether it be on-premise or whether we want it on a private cloud, a public cloud, or a hybrid. We have multiple subscription options as well and different OpEx options available to you. So the last bit I'm going to talk about is also tying in with Equinox, is we're also releasing a new device called Avaya Vantage. Now, you might be thinking, a phone on the desk? Surely everyone's moving to soft phones. Well, actually, our experience is that there's still high demand for a phone on the desk or a device on the desk separate from your desktop. And this is where Vantage comes in. This is a completely glass fronted device. There are no physical buttons on there. You can see that there is a handset, but that is a modular add-on. You can decide whether you want a wired or wireless handset to add into there. It can be wall mounted. You can also plug in headsets as well, or use Bluetooth to connect to it. But importantly, this is all built on the client SDK as well. So again, back to the verticalization, the solutions which are specific to your business needs, you are able to customize this and make it exactly how you want to see it. So for an example we've got up there, this is a hospitality application which a customer of ours has built using the SDK and is able to thinking about deploying this into all of their hotel rooms so that you have access to the menu and so on from that device. Again, there are other vertical applications for this. Healthcare is another area that is very, very interested in this device. As you can imagine, a full glass device, there's no buttons to hide any sort of germs or anything like that. You can use it whilst you're busy with other things. So Vantage is coming along again at the beginning of next year, January, and you'll be able to order this alongside any of our other existing devices. So, to summarise then, what Avaya wants to do, our vision is to be able to help people and organisations move to the digital age, move to that new age of engagement and communications. We want Avaya to be everywhere. We want to be able to allow you to embed your communications into your business flows. We want you to be able to quickly develop new and innovative applications, new and innovative customer experiences using the Breeze platform. And again, we're trying to focus on the mobile first. Analytics being something which is key. It's everything, the new experience is going to be driven by analytics. And also it's about providing that, using that analytics to provide a personalised service. There is no longer a one-size-fits-all option. The new customer expects you to know who they are, why you're contacting them, and what your relationship is with them. As Ioan said, the new generation certainly are very, very fickle. And in the digital marketplace, competition is everywhere. It's easy to be able to jump from one company to another after one bad experience. So the personalization of customer experience is key. And of course, we have our flexible deployment models, whether that be on-premise, subscription models, or whether you want to have a public, private, or hybrid cloud deployment. And that is me. Thank you very much for your attention. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.